The Old Man in the Sea, part 34, second part. I had to interrupt the video. I would like, let's go back to the paragraph I finished the last video with. Then the fish came alive with his death in him, and rose high out of the water, showing all his great length and width, and all his power and his beauty. He seemed to hang in the air above the old man in the skiff. Then he fell into the water with a crash that sent spray over the old man and over all of the skiff. Two things, when you are reading, maybe you find it a little bit strange. With his death in him, he seemed to hang in the air above the old man in the skiff. Then he fell. Alright? Every time you find something strange, just don't go over it. Alright? Very frequently you see that you are reading a book when the author is great, and you kind of think, oh, what a peculiar way of saying it, and then you continue. Usually that peculiar way of saying it has very deep intentions behind, because we expect that the author was conscious of his word choices. Of course, I've told you dozens of times that, right? But I think it's worth thinking about this image, right? With his death in him, he rose high out of the water. Okay, so it's a very beautiful way. Of course, it's sad as well because the fish is dying, but the fish has death within him, and in that sense, he is kind of dead already. The same image will be used again in the next, or the passage after that. So even though the fish jumped, death is already within him. Okay, the harpoon is there, and then you have this very visual image, right? So you'll have almost as if you're watching a movie, and the old man is fishing there. And then suddenly the fish comes alive, it jumps out of the water, and then I can picture it like in slow motion, okay? You can picture the fish jumping out of the water in slow motion, and then it stops there, just like in a Matrix movie, it stops there, and all the world seems to stop a little bit, and then the fish falls and the action continues, right? Was Hemingway influenced by Matrix? Hardly. I don't think he was, right? Did he get that kind of ability from cinema? I think that's chances are very, very, very lean, mainly taking into account that when The Old Man was released, The Old Man in the Sea was released, cinema didn't have that kind of device, stopping the camera, slow motion, and etc., right? Plus, in the future I'll try to find, but there is a scene in the Iliad, composed by Homer, 800 years before Christ, where you have something like that. You have a very visual scene, as if you have a camera. So where did Hemingway get the image from? I don't know if you have ever had that kind of experience, but in moments of extreme, danger, stress, or something that strikes you very hard, it seems that second is perceived in so many details. And that second is so important that it's as if time has stopped, So when you remember it, or even when you are living that moment, you remember, fractions of a second, all right? I remember, I think there was this time I fell, and it was very serious, and I remember the sensation was I kind of saw myself going, and the world around me, and I knew at that moment I was going to hit my head and it would hurt a lot, you know, all of that. So time is kind of extended in perception. So I think this is what Hemingway is writing about here. So he seemed to hang in the air above the old man in the skiff. So imagine this scene, right? The camera is the scene is stopped, even though maybe the camera is moving. That's why I like the way Matrix was filmed, you know, to picture this. So you have the fish there, the old man is right here, and the fish is hanging above, is still there, and the camera kind of goes around it, you know, maybe water is falling very slowly, and then the moment goes back to, you know, regular time, and the fish falls, and etc. The old man felt faint and sick, and he could not see well, but he cleared the harpoon line and let it run slowly through his raw hands. Remember, raw, because it was they were so hurt, right, that he had open wounds on his hands. So clear the harpoon line, it means that he made sure the line wouldn't, you know, get entangled anywhere, so the line could just run. But he cleared the harpoon line and let it run slowly through his raw hands, and when he could see, he saw the fish was on his back with his silver belly up. The shaft, that is the part you hold of a spear, or in that case the harpoon, the shaft of the harpoon was projecting at an angle from the fish's shoulder, and the sea was discoloring with the red of the blood from his heart. First it was dark as a shoal in the blue water that was more than a mile deep. Shoal is another way to say a large school of fish. Remember, the collective of fish is a school, and a large school of fish is shoal, right? So imagine this big shoal of fish spreading, that was the blood. Then it spread like a cloud. The fish was silvery and still and floated with the waves. The old man looked carefully in the glimpse of vision that he had. Then he took 2 turns of the harpoon line around the bit in the bow and laid his head on his hands. "Keep my head clear," he said against the wood of the bow. "I am a tired old man, but I have killed this fish which is my brother, and now I must do the slave work. Now I must prepare the nooses and the rope to lash him alongside," he thought. "Even if we were two and swam her to load him and bailed her out, this skiff would never hold him." Try to get this sentence. I think it's particularly challenging. Try to get by yourself first. You know, one of those exercises. Pause the video and try to get it. I hope you have tried to do that, right? So his idea is to tie the fish by the side of the boat, because of course the boat is smaller than the fish, right? But let's imagine, he's imagining, oh, if I had the boy or even a very strong man here with me, we could try to carry the fish. Remember, he uses he to refer to the fish, and he uses she to refer to his boat. So what would be the strategy when you get a fish like that? Even if we were to and swam her, so it means that you, let me try to, okay, this is the side of the boat, here's the water, right? Here's the water, this is the side of the boat. So there is quite a distance from the brim here, right, the top, in the water. So what is the technique he thought of using if there were somebody with him? He would swamp the boat, remember, swamp her, okay? So fill the boat with water, so the boat would get heavier and would get heavier and heavier until the brim of the boat would be closer to the water, okay? Then they would load him, the fish is him. So they would load him, okay? And then now you would have a very heavy boat with lots of water and a big fish on top. And then they would bail her out. What is bail her out? They would take all the water again from the boat, so they would be able to sail, you know, with a safe distance between the brim of the boat and the water, okay? But even if we were to, and we swam the boat to load the fish and bailed the boat out, this skiff would never hold him. I must prepare everything then, bring him in and lash him well, and step the mast and set sail for home. Step the mast is like put the mast in the correct position. He started to pull the fish in to have him alongside, so that he could pass a line through his gills. Remember, well, you know gills, right? And out of his mouth and make his head fast along the bow. I want to see him, he thought, and to touch and feel him. He is my fortune, he thought, but that is not why I wish to feel him. Again, this is beautiful. He is my fortune, he thought, but that is not why I wish to feel him. I think I felt his heart, he thought, when I pushed on the harpoon shaft the second time. Bring him in now and make him fast, and get the noose around his tail and another around his middle to bind him to the boat, to the skiff. Get to work, old man, he said. He took a very small drink of the water. There is very much slave work to be done now that the fight is over. He looked up at the sky and then out to his fish. He looked at the sun carefully. It is not much more than noon, he thought, and the trade wind is rising. The lines all mean nothing now. The lines all mean nothing now. The boy and I will splice them when we are home. He's talking about the damaged lines, right? He had to cut the lines so he would be able to attach, to tie the fish to the boat. Come on, fish, he said. But the fish did not come. Instead, he lay there, wallowing, just like a pig in the mud, okay? Wallowing now in the seas, and the old man pulled the skiff up onto him.